All right, we have sophomore Adeline Sabados here with us, and we'll start with questions from Justin Lee.
Hi, Adeline. How's it going? I know you guys always focus on yourself, but the Alabama meet, it has to be at least a little bit different, right? What's it kind of like going into that meet? And I think you're a sophomore, right? So going into it again, your second time.
Yeah, I think last year we did a really good job of staying in our bubble and focusing on us, on Auburn, and not, looking over at the other team, not focusing on the scores, not focusing on anything but us. And I think that's the ticket here. And I think we just need to do the same thing and reiterate how important it is to stay focused on Auburn.
Man, you guys got canceled right before the Birmingham meet, right? The rematch. Yeah, it's like everything fell apart right then.
Yep.
So I guess yeah, it's been a weird year since the first time you met him. So yeah, I don't know what's that been like for you personally as well.
I mean, I think it's really shed light on the fact that it's an honor and a privilege to be on this team. And, you never know what's going to happen and it could be ripped away from you at any moment. So just taking advantage of every opportunity and having fun in each moment and enjoying it. I think that's what I've learned.
All right, Madison, you can go ahead.
Last meet against Kentucky, you hit your career high on your floor routine. So first, I just want to ask, how does it feel to hit a milestone like that? And then secondly, what do you do to push yourself to get, a career high like that?
Yeah, it felt really good. It just is a testament to our hard work, and even my team, seeing them cheer on the sidelines, it pushed me through. And if we can just keep doing that, putting in the hard work, it's all you can do. And it was really good to have it pay off.
Go ahead, Justin.
Adeline, just what was that road trip like? And it was a long bus ride and some low scoring, but just how do you guys what have you kind of talked about since getting back?
I think we've really focused on, you can only control what you can control, and the scores are just numbers. We're just focusing on the little things and trying not to give anything away. And all we can do is focus on ourselves, like I said earlier, and the little details.
Are you personally where are you at as far as upgrades, kind of your season trajectory? Are you planning on putting anything in, or where are you at right now?
No, I think I'm staying pretty consistent. My floor routine is an upgrade from last year. I added a punch front out of my double full, which was good. I like that pass. It's one of my favorite passes. But other than that, everything's staying pretty much the same. Hope to hopefully contribute to beam coming up soon, and just hit the all around when I can and when the team needs me, and just be there. Have fun with it.
All right, go ahead, Jeff.
Adeline, coming from Colorado, have you been in Auburn long enough to get a sense of Auburn versus Alabama gymnastics and how important that rivalry is in your sport and in others?
Yes, sir. I think it's pretty apparent from the first appearance, even with football games last year when just the Iron Bowl of any sport. It's crazy. And I think it puts a sense of Auburn pride into every athlete. And I'm very proud to be on this side of it.
All right, do we have any other questions for Adeline?
I guess, Adeline, it's your first time going there, right? Your first time in Tuscaloosa?
Yes, sir.
What has anyone told you anything about it? Any has anyone got you prepared for it?
Not necessarily. Just again, we just gotta focus on ourselves, and equipment is equipment, an arena is an arena, and it's just me doing my skills and our team doing our skills.
Awesome. Thanks, Adeline.
Of course. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you. We'll be right back with Jeff in a second. All right, we're just going to start with Jeff talking a little bit about last week and coming into this week versus Alabama, and then we'll open up for questions.
Yeah, well, here we go. Just second road meet of the year. Got a lot of young people that got some opportunity to compete, possibly not by our choice or by design, but by necessity last weekend. And I was really pretty proud of the way they handled it. And it doesn't get easier. We go right to Alabama now, and everybody's going to have to keep their head on straight. It's a tough environment. It's a tough arena. And obviously it's a tough matchup. Anywhere in the SEC is a tough matchup, but it is the Iron Bowl of gymnastics. So I'm trying to get a lot of young people to understand what that means.
All right, we'll open up with questions from Justin Lee.
Jeff, just looking back to last week for just a second, what if, long road trip like we talked about, what are some of the things that you've talked about with the team since y'all have gotten back?
Well, a lot of it is we lost 30% of our starting lineup, almost 40% of our starting lineup from the Florida meet to the Kentucky meet. And we found out on Wednesday afternoon after practice is over for the week. So we weren't able to prepare the freshmen who filled those spots. And I felt like they handled it really well. So we did a lot of growing, on the job, so to speak. We had, I believe, 14 routines out of the 24 were either their first or second ever college routine. So, and it was the first away meet routine for any of them. So I felt like they handled it really well, and it was in a tough environment. So we're trying to build on that. We went in saying, you got to keep your head down. It's really tough for the young people to not look around. It's something they're used to when they're in a regular club environment, but it hits you so fast in college that you've got to stay focused. And I do feel like they did a good job with that. We did grow up a little bit. What we're really doing this week is trying to embrace the fact that we were pretty tough and we fought a lot, but we also gave some opportunities for some deductions that we don't typically do. So we've got to get a little sharper.
Is the lineup situation kind of similar this week? You expect the same thing?
Well, yeah, last Tuesday, I thought I knew what I was doing. And so, yeah, as of right now, it's going to be very similar. Now we might move some people around. We did have some alternates that did a good job. Drew Watson is hopefully going to step into the all around here pretty soon. So it's possible she could break into the bar lineup for Friday. But I found in COVID times, you just have to, I just plan for what practice looks like today, and then we'll figure out what happens tomorrow. And then we might even switch on Friday, but I am becoming more comfortable with all our options.
And you mentioned getting those young people, caught up with the Alabama meet and what it means. What are some of the things that you're telling them?
Well, to me, it's more that they have to learn to control what they can control. It's really easy in our sport to get distracted. The scores can frustrate you at times, but you don't have a control over the score. The equipment can frustrate you. The lighting can frustrate you. We're going into a new arena, and with the new COVID protocols, you don't get as much time in the arena. So there is a complete disadvantage for the away team coming in. You just don't have the ability to get used to the equipment like we did in the years past. So it's a big hill to climb, and they have to keep their head on straight. And so a lot of it's a mentality issue more than it is a physical issue.
All right, do we have any more questions for Jeff? Madison, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah. Looking back at Kentucky, Auburn's highest event was on the beam, and consequently, that's Alabama's lowest event and has been throughout the season. So going in, is that something that you look at, or is it just like you've always said, where you just focus on what you can control and what Auburn does?
Yeah, I mean, eventually it turns into that, I think, a little bit. I think this early in the season, it's hard to see a pattern. We wouldn't have, we're most likely going to have the same lineup on beam. So at least that's what we're intending to do, but it could change. So I'm not even sure that either team's going to put the same girls up. So I think when we're talking in end of February, we're going to be talking about where we're stronger and where they're weaker. What I did like about us is that was a lot of young people in the lineup, and we were pretty darn consistent, and with pressure, they did a good job. So what that tells me is that we are 8 or 9 deep on an event where you have to select 6. So I think it'll continue to be a good event for us if we can keep our head on straight.
And then when you're going against a top 10 team this early in the season, and going off of what you just said about it's hard to compare, does that make it tougher about what girls you're going to put up if you take the COVID precautions and injuries out of it?
Yeah, this year is a little bit different than most years. Although in most years, I use the first couple of meets to get experience and get depth. Auburn and Alabama and Florida and all of the SEC teams are all built and constructed slightly differently. And the way we're built is we have a lot more, I believe we have a lot more depth. The problem is you don't really have depth if you don't use it. So we usually use the first couple of meets to develop the depth. Now this year it's happening partially by design, but partially not by design. So we're just embracing the fact that there's some young people who are going to get an opportunity who might not have gotten an opportunity all year if this COVID environment hadn't popped up. So to me, it's exciting to see what they're capable of. So we're really taking that and embracing it, but with the anticipation that this is all going to pay off in February when hopefully everybody's back to full speed. Our upgrades are kicked in. We're capable of scoring at a high potential. And then we have a really good idea on who are our numbers 6, 7, and 8 girls, because we've used them a lot more in the first couple of meets in January.
All right, go ahead, Justin.
Jeff, we talked to Adeline. I want to talk to her about her a little bit. So she did 3 events. Was she planning on doing that earlier in the week, or was that a late week adjustment, kind of like you're talking about?
No, I think she's sort of earned the right to get in there. I think that's the goal, is that she's in 3 events. She's been really pushing to get into the all around, and she's getting close at times on beam. And what I like to see, going back to what Madison said about our beam lineup, the more times we hit at a good rate, the harder it is to get into lineups, which increases the pressure in practice. And when you increase the pressure on Monday and Tuesday in practice, we get better. And especially young people get better. So it's been a really good first chunk of this week for training. The girls came in really focused, and they're really pushing each other because it's apparent to them that this is going to be another wide open meet that we'll have some opportunities at, and they want those opportunities. So we're getting better because people like Addie are having to train in an extremely high level just to get the opportunity to maybe get an exhibition routine or to get into the lineup. So I'm anticipating she's going to continue to be in 3 events, and there's a good possibility in the near future she breaks into the all around.
All right,
Kind of like I always ask, any upgrades this week? What are you guys kind of thinking, or is it more just hammer what you got? Where are you guys at with that?
Yeah, there's things that we're hoping to put in. We've got maybe 2 more upgrades on vault that we're looking at putting in. Darion upgraded the double layout on floor at Kentucky, and that being her first time, and with the way the meet was going, we felt like it was a good time to dust that skill off. So I'm hoping she'll get that again at this meet to get another one under her belt. We think it's eventually a higher scoring routine, but we're going to keep an eye on the score, and we're going to keep an eye on, we'd like to get a good road score in the next few weeks here. And this is one of our opportunities to do that. So we have about 3 or 4 things that we're looking at upgrading, but we're also going to keep an eye on the score. So you'll see how I feel by what I select to have them do. Is that fair?
All right, do we have any other questions for Jeff? Good. All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.